my reflection for the end of 2020, we will start reading a poem that meant a lot once in my life and right now is even stronger. The poem is called The Invitation by Oria. It doesn't interest me what you do for living. I want to know what you wake for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you have touched the center of your own sorrow, if you have been opened by life's betrayals, or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own, if you can dance with wildness and let the ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes, without cautioning us to be careful, to be realistic, to remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you were telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself. If you can bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul. If you can be faithless and therefore trustworthy. I want to know if you can see beauty, even when it's not pretty every day. And if you can source your own life from its presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand at the edge of the lake and shout to the silver of the full moon, yes. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after the night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else falls away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself and if you truly like the company you keep in the empty moments. 2020 was exactly this. Sometimes shouting to the moon and thanking for everything that happened. Other nights very difficult with lots of doubts. Just knowing that we have to wake up and do what we have to do. Other days we have seen beauty where probably it was not so beautiful. But the ones who were able to feel the presence of something divine, of something meaningful, were able to go through 2020 thanking for an awakening of consciousness. If I will remember 2020, in a single way, and I have to describe the 2020 despite of everything that happened, and I have to remember one thing, I would remember 2020 as the year that the humanity has awakened its consciousness. I could not ask for more than to see so many people talking about social impact in the main strategies of the companies, including all stakeholders in the decision making of companies, thinking on benefit of the society when we are doing any business. People asking for a purpose in their companies. This was a year of awakening of consciousness. So last night, our family did an exercise that we do every year, but this year was a special one. We asked 3 questions. The first question, what would I have done differently this year if I would reflect? Second, what I did great that I want to keep. Third, what is my intention for the next year? My reflection of these 3 questions was what I would have done differently in 2020. Funny enough, I would have relied much more in 2 things that I have been telling people since 2003. First one is the phrase from Roosevelt. The doubts of today are the obstacles for tomorrow's realization. I probably would have had less doubts this year. Other phrase is the heroes and the coward both have fears. Their difference is that the heroes, they take their decisions based on their dreams. I would have relied more on my dreams and not on my doubts or my fears this year. This is what I would have done differently in 2020. What I did great this year that I am proud of is all the decisions that I have taken based on my dreams. When I decided that I want to take my next step of my life to really do what I think is my mission in this life, to build the future for my children. So my intentions for 2021 are twofolded. One is to help leaders to build more leaders that are integral, that are intentional, that are coherent, and they are lifelong learners. I would like to see much more leaders that know what they are doing and know the impact that they have, not only in their business, but in life of others, society, and decision of governments. The second thing is that I would like to foster cultures and environment that would allow this kind of leaders to be raised from each individual in any society, companies. So these are my intentions for 2021, and these are my reflections from 2020. So there are 4 things that I would like to ask from you all. Reflecting these 3 questions. What would you have done a little differently if you would have been given the chance for 2020? What are the things that you did great? And what are your intentions for 2021? And what would be one song, one poem, or one thought that would represent 2020 for you and for your life? And I hope that you are finishing this year with the same warm heart that I am, and ready to start a 2021 that we will create together this next step of our lives. Take care, everybody, and have a great Christmas and beginning of 2021.